Okay, to make a long story short, my Uncool DJs video was posted on the djchat.com forum. And this was brought to my attention this morning, so I went to the forum to have a look at it and see what was going on, because there was a discussion on it. And, went to become a member. Well, it turns out I was already a member, but hadn't been there for like 4 years, so I had to recover a password and finally got into the site. Some people really liked what I had to say. Some people didn't like what I had to say, or some parts of what I said. And I tried to clarify some of that with the people on the forum, and the response I got was fantastic. It seems like a real nice bunch of guys. The thing that most of them didn't like was where I said that if you don't share information, you're uncool. So I'd like to talk about that for a second. Number one, I don't think there's a DJ out there, including myself, who's going to open up his books to just anyone who comes along. Yeah, I'll do lots of videos for you. I'll tell you more stuff than most people will probably tell you. But, there are still some things that just none of y'all business. You know what I'm saying? And this rings true for any DJ out there. You're going to have to be selective with the information you share. As long as you're sharing something, as far as I'm concerned, you're a cool guy and you're doing your part. You don't have to open up your life to just anyone who comes along. And the reason you don't open up your life to anyone who comes along is because of what another person said. There have been times in the past where this DJ had helped some new DJs along, didn't really get any thank you for it, and in the long run got stabbed in the back for it. Well, it happens. It's a bit like that ex-girlfriend or ex-wife that you had at one time, where at first the relationship seemed really nice and friendly and sweet, but she did you wrong. Well, it didn't put you off on women for the rest of your life. Okay, maybe it did, but most of you it didn't put you off on women. Next time around, you were a little smarter about it, and you learned from it. You chalked it up as a learning experience. Sometimes a very expensive one, but learning experience nonetheless. It happens. It's happened to me. I know there was a guy probably, 14 or so years ago, who was just always buzzing around me, asking me questions, and I gave him a lot. I gave him more than I probably should have. And he started his own company and pretty much went full on and tried to go after me, competitively tried to go after me and take some clients away and things like that. It's like, okay, competition's good for us, it keeps us on our toes. And then when I would go to him for something, maybe he could help me out with something, he wanted me to reach into my wallet. Well, this guy's no longer in business, and serves him right because he was an asshole. So, new guys can be assholes too. And I want you new people to understand that. When you go out and you solicit a DJ to mentor you or help you out or give you some information, you got to keep in mind this DJ is going to look for a couple things. He's going to look for sincerity, he's going to look for aptitude, and he's going to look for drive. He's going to look for people who he feels like can pull this off. It's like a job interview. Now, like a job interview, you could, have 10 interviews. Well, 9 people may not want to hire you, but number 10 may see something in you the other people didn't see, and they'll hire you. Doesn't mean the last 9 employers were assholes. It means that you just didn't pass their test. So, just so you're sharing something, I think you're a pretty cool guy. I think you're doing your part. And if you're on djchat.com and you're an active member and you're a seasoned DJ and you're sharing information with anyone who wants to log in and take a look, you can't be all bad. So, no, I'm not picking on you. And I think that they understand that now. I made some posts. Someone mentioned in the DJ chat forum that I had mentioned in my video that if I didn't like what you said on my comments on my videos, I'd block you as a user and delete your comment. Well, let's clarify that. I welcome constructive criticism, and I welcome a comment where you may disagree with something I've said or a concept or have a different opinion. I totally welcome that. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to say whatever you want. You're not allowed to be nasty. You're not allowed to say, I hate you, I hope you die, I want to throw eggs at you. Those are the users that get blocked and the comments that get deleted, not the people who disagree with me in a constructive and polite fashion. So, a little clarification there. Another DJ said something really interesting. He said, well, you know, the hell with these new DJs. They got it so easy because they have all this lightweight equipment. They have like every song they want at their disposal for download. They got giant hard drives, you know, full of music. They don't have to go to the record store and pay $6 per 12-inch single or $2 per song for 45. They can download this stuff relatively cheap, or they can illegally download it for free, or you know, they can subscribe to promo only. They've got all this music. They've got lightweight equipment. The hell with them. We had it hard back in the old dinosaur days. And we did have it hard back in the dinosaur days. I remember the amplifiers that we used, I think, were recovered from the Titanic wreckage. And the reason I think this is because they were so heavy, you know, they were old. They had to have sank that boat or been, you know, a part of the problem. Now, our speakers, I do remember this. There was a Ted Nugent concert back in the 70s that got hit by a heavy storm. And all of the stage monitors got blown, you know, into the little, you know, security area and busted to shit. So the DJ company bought these at a budget price, nailed them and screwed them back together, painted them black, and sent them out on gigs with us. They were heavy pigs. They sounded like shit. And I remember on Sunday mornings picking splinters out of my fingers with a tweezer just because you got splinters from these speakers. That's just how rough it was. The turntables we had, it took usually about a turn and a half for these things to get up to either a 33 or a 45 speed. They were so slow. The 45s were Q burnt. You had to be very good, you know, and figure out, well, how long is it going to take for this song to go around, and exactly, you know, hook up with that last song so it mixes nicely. We keep our crowd on the dance floor because we know with dead air we're going to lose them. And the reason we lost them with dead air was because we had a very limited music library. We only had so many 45s of, you know, top 40 country, R&B, you know, 50s and 60s, slow stuff, you know, rock, what have you. It's not like we had every song that was available at the time. If we did, on vinyl, we would have had to have brought a couple more trucks with us to these gigs. So, you know, in that aspect, we had it rough. But we learned from that, old guys. And I say old guys because I'm one of them. I'm allowed to. We learned from that experience. And what we learned from it was to make do with what we had. To learn how to put these songs in a certain order to make them work. We learned how to say to the client who said, hey dude, you got any Metallica? We learned how to say, oh man, I don't have any Metallica. You know, sorry about that. I like Metallica too. Hey, do you like Guns N' Roses? How about that? And 9 times out of 10 they say, yeah, that'd be fine. And you play Guns N' Roses for them. So we learned how to make do. We learned how to, what I call, do the Jedi mind trick, which is what I just talked about. Things these new DJs aren't going to learn. And that's something that we can teach them as mentors. And, you know, it's like the analogy that I made, or I just thought of, I guess I should say. It's like my grandpa and my great-grandpa arguing about the car and the horse. You know, my great-grandpa could say to my grandfather, you kids, you got it so easy today. You've got these cars. If you don't drive your car for 2 weeks, all you have to do is park it in the garage and forget about it. 2 weeks later, you go out, you crank it up, it starts up, and you drive away. Not me. If I don't ride my horse for 2 weeks, I still got to feed him every day. And if I don't, the horse will die. And you don't have to worry about vet bills. And you don't have to worry about, you know, riding your horse too hard because your car goes really fast. You get there a lot faster. You know, you kids got it so easy. But what great-grandpa may not have thought about was, if great-grandpa went to the bar and got completely shit-faced drunk, if he had a smart horse, he could climb up on that horse, fall asleep, and the horse would just walk him home. Great-grandpa could wake up on his farm somewhere on the back of his horse or on the ground and say, whew, boy, I must have drank a lot last night. You know, 100 years later, we don't have a car that'll get us home safe drunk. So there were some advantages to the horse. And it's a weird analogy, but I hope that I expressed my point there. So, you know what? Enough of preachy videos, guys. We've got some tunes to do. And if anybody, as usual, has any questions, shoot me an email. I got a lot of emails I've got to get to. I will get to them. Don't worry, they're coming. But we got some tunes coming too. So that's it. Done with this video. Practice and enjoy.